News, sports, traffic, weather, and talk all in one place. KJCE Rolling with Austin, KKMJ FM HD3 Austin, and K242CC Austin.
This is Voice of the Cage Radio with Patrick Stanger. Fighters, trainers, promoters, events, rumors. If it has to do with MMA, we're talking about it.
Hey, this is Jake Shields, and you're listening to Voice of the Cage with Patrick Stanger.
Hey, this is Kenny Florian, and you're listening to Voice of the Cage with Patrick Stanger.
Hey, this is Mike Goldberg, voice of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and you are listening to Voice of the Cage with my good friend Patrick Stanger. Here we go!
Hey, welcome to Voice of the Cage. I'm your host, Patrick Stanger, and on the phone joining me right now is the number one contender in the lightweight division of the UFC, Gilbert El Nino Melendez. How you doing, Gilbert?
Great, man.
Where are you right now? I guess, are you in San Jose?
I'm in San Jose, just hanging out, man. Just right here in San Jose, just getting ready for the press conference interview.
Yeah, and for those of you that have been under a rock, Gilbert Melendez will be fighting for the UFC lightweight title Saturday night at UFC on Fox 7. So this is going to be on the main network, primetime television. I think, 9 o'clock Central, or no, 9 o'clock Eastern, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, I'm on the West Coast time, so yeah, between 5 and 7 p.m. out here.
Man, what an exciting opportunity. Of course, you are the Strikeforce lightweight champion. And now, are you number 1 or 2 in the world?
Right now, I'm going to give the number 1 spot to Ben. He has a UFC title and all that, but it's definitely a debatable spot, and we're going to find out basically this Saturday.
I love these fights whenever you get, two successful fighters that, have, obviously Ben was the WEC lightweight champ, and now he's the UFC champ, and, you were the Strikeforce champ for a long time. I think you've had a winning streak, 9 or 10 fights in a row that you've won, right?
I've been on a pretty good streak. I went on my first 15, and then I lost a couple, but I'm on 7 in a row right now with some title fights.
Which is tremendous. So this should be a great fight. It's a combining of the titles, and I know there was a time whenever the UFC came in or Zuffa came in and bought Strikeforce. There was rumors that, hey, you wanted to come over and compete, but no, they wanted you to stay there in Strikeforce. Is there any truth to that rumor? How did that go down, and how did that make you feel if that was the case?
Oh, yeah, man. There's definitely politics involved, and I was happy with Strikeforce. I was very happy with it, and, and I was doing my thing there. But of course, the UFC was the biggest stage, and I wanted to participate there, but I'm an employee. I'm an employee of a great company, and and you want to go along with the flow sometimes, and and at times you get a little frustrated, but at times you're very happy, and the important thing is that I'm here now.
Yeah, they were bringing over a lot of the other really good fighters from Strikeforce. Robbing pretty much Strikeforce of all the good fighters, and they kept you over there, as a dominant force. But I wonder if there was some kind of strategy there as to build you up as, the lightweight champion and have you face the current lightweight champion, and combine these titles. Marketing geniuses behind the scenes over there at the UFC.
Exactly, man. It's all working out at the end, and yeah, I take it as a compliment.
You had said in your recent, have you seen The Road to Victory on Fox?
Yeah, The Road to the Octagon.
A Road to the Octagon, that's what it was, yeah.
I like that.
Dude, I love those productions. It's great, man. I really like to see the behind-the-scenes stuff. It showed you at home with your family and in the gym training, and just really puts things, it really lets you get to know the fighters. One of the things that you had said on the show is that, obviously you've had a long and successful career, but, this being your first fight in the UFC, you really feel like it's your first fight, period. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I think for the people who really know MMA and my peers and people who follow the sport real closely, know my accomplishments. But for the common fan, they're just familiar with the UFC, and this is basically my first, coming out for them. This is my debut, and this is kind of a make or break for them. All my accomplishments that I've done are kind of out the window. This is this is how they're going to perceive me the rest of my career here. So that's what I mean by that. I'm 0-0 walking into the Octagon, and people really talk about their Octagon, the UFC records more than their overall records.
You're going to be fighting Ben Henderson, or actually, he goes by Ben Henderson now, right? I think it's just Ben. Ben, right? So
sure. Yeah, that's cool.
He is the current, champion in the UFC. Now, I don't know, did you see his last fight when he had won, and then as soon as he was done, he popped a toothpick out of his mouth?
Yeah, man, I was actually there cornering my buddy Nate Diaz. He fought my friend that last fight.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't quite see the toothpick. I wasn't really, I've heard about it afterwards, and this and that. But no, I didn't see him pop the toothpick out. No, that's pretty funny though.
This guy was fighting with a toothpick in his mouth, which cracks me. I mean, I've done an interview with the guy before, and I swear he didn't take the toothpick out. Because it affects the speech a little bit. You can tell he's got the toothpick in. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, I guess that's his thing, dude. Some people have their blankie, some people have their toothpick.
Right on. So you're a part of the Scrap Pack. You train with Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz, Jake Shields. Now you train with Jake on a regular basis, though, correct?
Yeah, Jake's been like my big bro, man. He's the one that actually got me into the sport. We were roommates for like 7-8 years, and we train together all the time. He's the reason why I'm here, to be honest.
Do you guys train in a gi at all still?
Every so often they'll get me in the gi, but I usually do a lot of gi-less stuff, and something I'm going to do a little bit more after my career. It's hard to fit in with wrestling, striking, grappling, gi-less jiu-jitsu, and lifting weights and running. It's kind of hard to slip in there, but I should be doing it more.
Right on. Hey, so tell me this. I'm just curious. Obviously Nate Diaz. I don't know if you're getting this question a lot. He's another lightweight. Say one of you guys, let's say Nate Diaz were to win that fight, and then you're the next up, you're the contender. How does that work? Do you just put things aside and fight, or do you say, no way, we're not fighting?
No way, I'm not fighting. We're a different team. There's not too many contenders. I think a lot of other teams might have a bunch of 155-pounders and on their team, but it's just him and I have no desire in fighting my teammate. We fight each other enough. He's my brother. He's my brother, and there's no way I would do that. I'd just drop a weight class.
You know what? I couldn't do it either. I just don't think I could do that. I mean, you guys definitely seem close. I mean, you see some guys out there that are training together, and it's clearly business. And then you guys kind of you're training together, but you're also buddies. You have a family environment, and you're close, and obviously you've known each other for a long time.
Exactly. That's how it is. It's more than teammates. We're family. You hit it right on the money right there. And I mean, some people aren't that with their team. They're not family, and that's what we are, man. I could never do that. It's just not happening.
I like that, man. I like that a lot. Cool. Tell me a little bit about your diet. I'm just curious. I know Nate and Nick, they do the whole organic and kind of sort of vegan thing. Are you on the same diet as these other guys?
Yeah, man. God bless those guys. I don't have to read a book about dieting because of them and Jake Shields. I mean, they're vegetarians. I'm not, but I also live in the great city of San Francisco, where I got a great Whole Foods, and and I get great meat and great food, great product. I'm really conscious of it, but I'm not nearly as particular as they are about their food. I mean, they even turn down food at Whole Foods. But but I like to have a really good diet. I try to eat organic stuff, organic meats, most definitely, gluten-free bread, and all my veggies, and I do a really good job of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the way my wife and I are, man. We've totally we obsess over our diet and where we're getting our food from. It's just gotten ridiculous. So, but yeah, when I found that out about those guys, I was pretty impressed, man. I think diet is a important part, obviously of keeping the body healthy, and so I'm just curious about that. But
yeah, no, most definitely, man. And my same way, my fiance, man, she's on it more than I. Like she's on it. She brainstorms with them as well, and. I can tell it. You can tell the difference in the food. I really can. I can feel the difference in my body, and the difference in the meats, the difference in the eggs. When they're really good, you can really tell the difference, man.
Well, cool, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any particular things you want to bring up at this point?
Yeah, man. I mean, nothing much. I just want to give a shout out to all my teammates who've been supporting me, and ElNinoMMA.com is my gym, Gilbert Melendez MMA, and my sponsors, Tap Out, and 1-800-Radiators, and Kinder's Barbecue, and Callie's Body Shop in Santa Ana. I guess those are the things I just wanted to mention.
Awesome, man. Representing.
You know it.
Hey, you've been a great interview, man. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you luck. UFC on Fox 7 happening Saturday night. Check your local listings for the time. Gilbert Melendez will be fighting Ben Henderson for the lightweight UFC title.
Thanks for listening to Voice of the Cage Radio. Email questions, inquiries, and other business to info@voiceofthecage.com. Facebook search Voice of the Cage and like to get the latest Voice of the Cage radio show. To book Patrick Stanger at your next fight promotion, visit voiceofthecage.com.